All right, and we're live. Let's make sure it's going out okay on the old YouTubes. There you go. Man. Sounds okay. All right. And I am painfully full right now because I just scarfed down a bag of fucking Steve's jerky. Whew, man. Steve was nice enough to send me a couple of bags for being such a good, being such an amazing place to advertise his product. And so I get home and I see down in the mail pile, and I was like, holy shit. And these aren't small bags. What are they? 5 ounces? They're 5 big ounces. Artistic Layman's available. I didn't think he was available. I'll bring him in. Boom. Okay, so yeah, there's 5 ounces. It's 5 ounces. It's probably a bit more. Oh man, so good. Steve's jerky's so damn good. But I just ate way too fucking much of it. I ate a full bag. All right, so Luke will be joining us here in a second. And shit. I'm so bad at this. I just had a brain fart and lost my train of thought. Oh, yes, I remember why I wanted to do this tonight. John Stone Street's being a big old faggot again. Hey, Luke, how's it going?
All right, how you doing?
Hey, you'll never guess what happened. John Stone Street is being a faggot again.
So on what this time?
Oh, boy, have we got a very special article from old Johnny Boy today.
Oh, boy, let's see it.
We have such sights to show you. This is... And, it's a little bit unfair to me, by the way. Everyone's always, Bechtloff, you're always on the Catholic Church. You're always on the Catholic Church. Then you shit on the Orthodox Church. Look, I will shit on my fellow evangelicals like you wouldn't believe, okay? And on the off chance Mr. Stone Street should hear this, Andrew Plus, look it up, my friend. You need to boost your tea. At the very least, eat some more broccoli or something, all right? Just get that tea levels up because I'm worried about you, buddy. I'm worried about you.
So what is our article?
Breakpoint, Miss America swimsuits.
Oh, what?
What? We have a lot to discuss here. From Anita John Sarkeesian here. Well, swimsuits are history for Miss Americans, or Miss America, and the reactions to this news by many conservatives reveal more than I wanted to see. 20 years ago, social conservatives were crusading against pornography and sexual objectification. They would have cheered if the nation's largest beauty pageant eliminated its bikini competition. Recently, Miss America chair Gretchen Carlson announced that her pageant is scrapping the swimsuit section. She says they'll be judged wholly on who they are, not how they look. In a beauty pageant, they will be judged by who they are and how they look. Can you imagine if we applied that to, like, if we had the Super Bowl and then, we just scrapped the scoreboard and we're like, well, we're more concerned about who these players are than who scored more points.
Yeah, I think he's a little out of touch. The religious right doesn't exist anymore.
He's keeping the spirit alive. They just dropped God and they became feminist. They are somewhat. Oh man, why is evangelicalism devolved into pro-life feminism? Like we don't need pro-life feminism, okay? All right. Of course, since its beginning, the hashtag Me Too awareness campaign. Oh, you mean the horse shit where a bunch of whores feel guilty and they want to pretend like they're rape victims? That campaign has elicited some strange reversals. Some liberals have abandoned the idea that showing skin equals empowerment. After decades of fighting to normalize skimpy attire in the name of women's liberation, there's been a shocking realization that it was mostly men, not women, who like to see ladies on stage in little more than their underwear.
Duh.
You know, maybe I'm just too jaded. Maybe I'm the asshole, okay? Because Lord knows, I've partaken of a little bit of porn in my lifetime. And Lord knows, I've had a little bit of fornication in my lifetime. But I don't really think there's anything inherently wrong with admiring the beauty of the female form.
God made it.
I really don't. Maybe I'm wrong here.
Let me know if this is going too far.
But what do you... No, you're fine. You're fine. Okay, so in another bizarre reversal, a writer at the National Review lamented the end of Miss America's bikini contest, saying, and I quote, "I like looking at beautiful women, including when they wear bikinis. If I said that, my wife would punch me in the nose." Okay, you know what? Watch what I'm about to do. All right. Yeah. How? What the? You think domestic violence is funny, John? Do you think domestic violence is funny? Huh? You know how many men are abused and they have this stigma where they're too ashamed to admit that they suffer physical abuse? Do you think it's funny, John? You think it's funny? I demand an apology. You see, I'd get up on my high horse too, cocksucker. It's fun. It's kind of fun up there. I see why you like it. See, I too can take what is meant as a harmless fucking thing and get all offended and up on my high horse about it. In fact, I should leave that as a comment. I should leave a comment where I'm like, does John Stonestreet think domestic violence is funny? And frankly, I wish she would, John, because if there's one thing a good look at your soy-ass fucking face tells me, it's that you need a pop in the nose. I think it would do you a world of good. I really do. So maybe when your wife isn't busy getting that train run on her by La Raza because of your open border policy, maybe then she can do that for you. Of course men like looking at women in bikinis. There's no question there. I'm kind of starting to question whether you do. But that doesn't make it right. It's not right. Luke, it's not right that men like beauty. Beauty's not right, okay? You need to tear down all this beauty, all right? Things aren't plain enough. In the not too recent memory, a conservative man would have been ashamed to say something like that, perhaps thinking of Jesus's words that anyone who looks at a woman with lust has already committed adultery in his heart. You know, I really do believe that there is a significant difference between admiring beauty and full-on lust. I think there's a difference there.
Not him, though. He doesn't see that difference.
You know?
And more importantly, Jesus was using that to explain the severity of the law, because he was saying, you've heard it said that you have committed adultery. If you be with another woman, you've committed adultery.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
You.
That's the other thing. Christ was using that as an example to demonstrate that not only are your actions in the wrong, not only have you acted wrong, but you are bent in wrong ways.
Here's an interesting thing, though.
You have problems with your fundamental nature.
And he was pointing that out because it was actually a common practice for a man to just divorce his wife and marry another wife. And Jesus was pointing out, look, I'm pointing out that you have those desires and you're a complete hypocrite for doing so.
You know, the same thing with when he says, like, in your heart, hate can be basically the same as murder. Because how many horrible fucking things do we not do simply because, I'm going to go to prison? You know what I mean? Or whatever, Like, I want to do it, but it's going to fuck me over if I do it. I'm rational enough to understand that I'll get fucked over if I do this terrible thing, but I want to do that. And if I was given a license to do it, you know, like we all understand that. If you understand the sinful aspect of your nature, you understand that you could not be trusted with Superman's powers, okay? If there's truly was no accountability in this world to you, you'd probably be a bit of a shithead. I don't even want to finish this. Like, it's just, here's the thing. It is reasonable to say that maybe we shouldn't have beauty pageants because it's just objectifying women. I don't agree with that. But I can understand that as a reasonable moral position. But what someone like Mr. Stone Street would need to get through his thick, soy-filled head is that leftists, the feminists, and the cultural Marxists, and the SJWs that he would find himself allied with in this position, they do not hate this because it objectifies women. They hate something like this because they hate beauty. Because they themselves are ugly. Outside and especially inside, they are ugly. As Chateau Hartis called it, the modern social justice movement is the revolt of the revolting. You know, you look at half these, you know, there's that famous meme of the ugly feminist standing outside Hooters with the sign that says women are not decoration. And one of the Hooters girls stands next to her with a sign that says some women are not decoration. Because guess what? Women are the decorative sex. That's the reality of the situation. A large portion of the woman's job in this thing we call civilization is to be looking fine. And we are all lifted up when they do that. Okay, beauty does lift us up. While I do think that my trad Catholic brothers and sisters get a little too concerned about aesthetics, aesthetics do matter. Beauty does matter. Beauty is its own justification. It requires no justification. Okay. Yes, it should not be elevated to a higher priority than it deserves. It should not be made an idol out of, but it does not require external justification. It is its own good. There are things in this world, you know, last night I mentioned I was looking forward to a Star Trek versus Transformers comic book coming out from IDW because it sounds fun. And you know what? Fun is its own justification. Now, yes, you don't make an idol out of it. And yes, there's a time to play. There's a time to work, all that stuff. But fun doesn't require an external justification. It is its own justification. Laughter and joy and beauty and art and music, they do not require a justification. They are their own ends.
As the phrase often goes, art serves itself.
Yes.
Now, you can use the art to portray something great or something good, but ultimately art does serve itself.
You know, I'm gonna be hosting a debate in a couple of weeks on pornography. You know, Jordan Owen's gonna take a more pro porn side. I'm trying to get Jay Dyer on. If I don't, I'm gonna look into some backups. Maybe Pastor Tom. I believe he'd be willing. I've run it by him. I just haven't heard back from him. But I do want to set up a debate like that. And we've talked a lot about porn on this show the last couple of weeks. You know, we've had our laughs looking at some porn star interviews. And there's an article I discussed the other night that we'll be covering Saturday on the founder of Black.com and Tushy.com and Vixen.com or something like that. And there is something cheap and there is something I believe just inherently corrosive about porn. But at the same time, on my bookshelf, and it was a Christmas present I got many years ago. I have a book of redhead pictorials from Playboys from I like the 80s and 70s, 80s, and 90s. I would expect these pictures are from. A lot of them don't have dates, but they seem to range from 70s to 90s. Now, I don't consider that porn. And the reason I don't consider it porn is I have never once in the probably decade that I've owned that little book, never once have I jerked off to it. I just have flipped through it sometimes and admired the beauty. And that was it. I don't suspect there's a lot of people that jerk off to the Miss America pageant. Maybe years ago, there might have been a few 12-year-olds with nothing better to crank it out to. Nowadays, probably not. And probably not even that. It's not porn. Now, I realize my Playboy book example is certainly more of a gray area. But I would define porn as something that exists to be jerked off to and nothing else. I don't think you can define porn merely as something you can jerk off to, because if that's the case, then the weather girl is porn.
Oh, the Mexican weather girl specifically.
Yeah, especially the Mexican one. Oh, that Lansky article. Yeah, we'll cover that. But no, there's something about this article where I get the impression John is just trying to desperately prove to us what a good boy he is. You know what I'm saying? Like the example he gave of his wife would punch him in the nose if he said that. Are you in the femdom lifestyle there, John? Is that what's going on? You know, do you have to check in? Are you Captain Fluffy?
I thought your joke was going to be that it's not a position he's unfamiliar with.
Well, but I mean, and I realize it's a joke, and I'm kind of harping on a joke, but I think it's a joke that betrays something there, doesn't it? And at the very least, it's a joke that could you not get on your high horse and say he's promoting domestic violence and all sorts of other horse shit? I mean, I intend to leave that comment, you know, where I'm gonna write like 3 or 4 lines about how I demand an apology for John promoting domestic violence, and then like, you know, skip a line and then put under it like, you see how ridiculous that sounds? When you get on your high horse about obviously innocuous things. He ends this article, and again, I don't want to read the whole thing because it's not worth it. But he ends this article, we certainly cannot agree with everything the leaders of the Me Too movement believe in. But if we can't stand against judging mostly naked women on their appearance, do we really stand for anything at all?
Have we been able to stand for anything recently?
Yeah, I would. What do you stand for, John? What do you fucking stand for?
And yes, he does go on to say that despite the hypersexualized culture surrounding us, yes, we are, but that isn't one of them. We're surrounded by pornography. We're surrounded by these very overt sexual images meant to force us to arousal, but the beauty pageant isn't one of them.
Yeah, I don't really think. And to be honest, like, I don't like that we live in a hypersexualized culture. But I don't want to live in the sterilized, asexual world that John Stonestreet would love us all to live in. Or for that matter, that the Anita Sarkeesians of the world would love us all to live in. I like that some things can be sexy and fun. I've often lamented on here that I don't like the rebooted Tomb Raider because Tomb Raider originally was a sexy, fun, flirty character with big titties. Now, I didn't jerk off to Tomb Raider. I just liked that she was a sexy character and was flirty and fun, and that was an aspect of it. It wasn't porn, but it had a sexual dimension to it. I don't want to live in a completely desexualized culture either. I want to live in a culture where we're just fucking sane about it.
I was going over some old videos. I think the Carl's Jr. commercials are really pushing their boundaries sometimes. What was that one they had where they had like a joke about the Mexican border where they had Americans and Mexican girls like doing a like a volleyball match on the border?
That's funny. Think back to some of the like, I don't know, like think back to like Roger Rabbit, right? Fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, you're wrong. That's something you need to rectify immediately. But would you have a problem showing Roger Rabbit to a little kid? I wouldn't. Yeah, it's got some dark tones to it, and obviously there's Jessica Rabbit. But I wouldn't have a problem showing that to a little kid. I wouldn't have a problem at all. I watched Looney Tunes when I was a little kid. And those were... I watched Tex Avery cartoons when I was a little kid, and they were full of a lot of sexual innuendo. You know, as a kid, I knew sex was a thing. I might have not known a great deal about the mechanics of it, but I knew that boys chase girls and girls chase boys, and that's what made the fucking world go round. Like I said, I'd like to think that there's some sort of sane middle ground between what the hell's the black.com guy? I blanked on his name.
Let's see, Lansky.
Lansky, yeah. I'd like to think that there's a nice middle ground between Lansky and Stone Street. Like, can we have some sort of sane middle ground of culture between those two? You know, is there not some middle ground between, you know, being a eunuch or getting my neg hole paused? Is there not perhaps some middle ground between the two there?
Oh, we have to get a nice little quip about that, the way that Razor Fist said. Can we have a nice little cozy DMZ between what's yours is mine and Mein Kampf? I mean, these are the two extremes that we don't want to get involved in, really. I mean, there's the almost like a return to, like a bizarre return to Puritanism, which kind of treats sex as this kind of weird alien thing that we don't know how to treat. And then there's the people who want to turn sex into a weapon and demoralize a country. I mean, there has to be something in between there. And I don't like going to the golden middle every single time, but as time progresses, you do find the golden middle everywhere.
Well, I mean, look, the golden middle, as it were, is often used as an excuse by people who... It's used as an excuse by the Sargon types who want to stand for nothing and that kind of shit. But yeah, more often than not, truth lies directly between two opposite errors. You know, what's that one passage in the Bible? I shall walk in the truth, neither veer to the right nor the left.
Where is that passage?
I'm so bad at memorizing where passages are because I wasn't raised in the church, So I don't. I didn't have sword drills and shit like that as a kid. So like when I read the Bible, I actually just read it trying to absorb it rather than trying to memorize what's in each passage. I mean, that's not how you read any other book. You know what I mean? You don't try to memorize exactly where that one scene, what page that one scene in a novel took place on.
I think it's Proverbs 4. Give careful thought to the paths at your feet, and be steadfast in all your ways. Do not turn to the right or to the left. Keep your foot from evil.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily one for the horseshoe theory.
I mean, realistically, it should be tilted in a way where both the points are on the left. Like something like this.
Let's see.
There we go.
All right. I'm going to go through the chat here. Steve from Steve's Jerky here says, thanks for the kind words, Bechtloff. No problem. Thanks for the jerky. It's fucking amazing. Somebody says, shit, I'm late. Did I miss anything? Was in the shower. Me too. Missed 8 whole minutes. Sent Luke a nice gif of August Ames' big flirty eyes. Somebody says, Bechtloff, where is the server link? Yeah, I can throw a server link in the chat. That's no problem. Invite people into the Discord. That's where we're running these ops. You see? Running some ops. We got some academics in here running some ops. Running some ops on Johnstone Street. Let's see. Somebody in the chat says, I've said for years that if I ever woke up one day with Superman's powers, 75% on the people on the planet would be dead by lunchtime. The rest would be worshiping their new god. I don't know about the worshiping their new god part. I'm not quite that greedy, but yeah, I'd there'd be some changes around here. So he said, I just got here. What got Bechtloff on the beauty kick? So he says he made the mistake of reading the National Cup View. No, it was breakpoint.org. Read Gary Wilson's book on porn addiction. Lots of good info in there. Oh, damn. Y'all jerked off to Mexican weather girls, too. Well, who hasn't? I mean, realistically.
Ladies and gentlemen, behold your new god, Mr. Burns.
Mortals, in addition to working for me, you may now praise me as your almighty.
Amen, sir.
Aaron Clary said, uh-oh. Echo on your end there, Luke. Aaron Clary says, Bechtloff, didn't I try to set you up with a Latina? You did, but you tried to set me up with a Latina halfway across or all the way across the country. That don't do me no good. Although she is quite nice. If she was local, I'd probably already be in that. Is Trump putting kids in cages? No, but he should be.
Well, he just signed an executive order would make that no longer a problem.
We're going to send them back. We'll just send back their heads, actually. See, that's what I would do. So Trump is taking the golden middle by just sending them back between me and let them stay. See, I say just send back their heads, and other people say let them stay, and Trump compromised and sent them back alive. See, it's all about being in that golden middle. That's what makes him a wise leader. Let's see. Is it all right that I have a hate boner for Sarkeesian? Sarkeesian would not be a bad looking woman if. See, the biggest problem she probably sucks a really good dick because there's massive suction caused by the void where her soul should be inside her. So you actually got to be careful. It might rip your dick right off. But again, coming back to that point, the problem is you might accidentally make eye contact with her and gaze into the void where her soul should be. And that's a boner killer. Bechtloff, congrats on your 100th Discord member. Oh, well, thank you. Seen a pic of Sarkeesian lately. She's grotesque. She's not aging well, that's for sure. Evil tends to age you.
Oh yeah, who would have thought the blood of the innocent would be so fattening?
Aaron Clary says excuses. Well, I'm sorry, Aaron. I mean, while I am packing, my dick doesn't reach all the way to California. So there's nothing I can do with it. That young lady you tried to set me up with. I mean, I can only get to about Ohio with it. So, we're all turning into Nazis. It's worse than the internment camps. George Takei said so. Well, as George Takei once said, ching, ching, chong, large penis up butthole. And that really makes you think. Let's see.
Oh, my.
Somebody says Mother Teresa was one ugly-looking nun. Well, wasn't she like 104 when she died? I mean, don't be too hard on her. She doesn't look nearly as ugly as John Stone Street here. What the? He looks like that weird kind of fat where it's like he used to be in shape. You know what I mean? Like a gym teacher. He looks like your fucking gym teacher, doesn't he? Somebody says Nintendo Switch friends request when Bechtloff. I don't think I've hooked my Nintendo Switch up to the internet, really. Well, no, that's not true. I did to get I bought Sonic Mania, but like I haven't done any online gaming or anything like that. So I haven't accepted any friends or anything like that. Somebody says these guys haven't done shit in 50 years. De Niro, Peter Fonda, George Takei. Yeah, George Takei is only famous for being the most forgettable like cast member on a show that was canceled like 50 butt fucking years ago. All right. Like, was Sulu anyone's favorite character on that show? I don't think it was George Takei's favorite character. Let's see. People are posting some redhead stuff in the Discord. That's lovely. See, that's the other thing in the Discord, right? I got a redhead not safe for work channel and a redhead safe for work channel. And I don't consider either one of these porn. It's just, pictures of good-looking women. Right? In fact, in the rules, rule number 2 is the redhead not safe for work channel is for nudes, not hardcore pornography. Keep it about rated R, not rated X. Somebody says Stone Street looks like an asshole cop that wrote you the ticket on the day you really didn't need one, or maybe a Mormon dad of a chick that dated you but wouldn't put out. No, Stone Street looks like the dad of a Mormon chick that definitely puts out. Look, there's some like background noise on your end. Can you mute yourself when you're not talking? It's not a ton of it, just Somebody says redheads are never safe for work. That's true. So he says redheads have a smaller population than blacks, so we're the true minority, oppressed Irish potato slaves. I know, and then slavery continues, like with the one in my basement. So they haven't been emancipated. At least she hasn't. Somebody says regarding porn, what's the line? Actually having sex. Well, I guess the line I would use on the Discord would be, yeah, I guess any kind of actual sex. Any there is sort of a when you see it element to it, but I don't think a chick naked is necessarily porn. Somebody says, what's the line between beauty and porn? Well, again, I don't think there's necessarily a the way I would define porn is that this thing was produced and exists solely for people to masturbate to. It holds no merit beyond that.
Whereas this image here was kind of adorable.
Yeah. So, like, for instance, a sex scene in a movie, I don't think is porn. I don't think that the movie Wild Things, for instance, is porn. And there's quite a few scenes in there that I assure you can crank one out to. But it's also a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen Wild Things, I highly recommend it. Really good sort of mystery, sexy, almost modern day noir in its storytelling. Very great movie. Highly recommend it. But there's a couple of scenes in there that you could crank one out to, and there's some titties galore in it. But I wouldn't say it's porn. Yeah, that's one of those scenes right there. That was a fantastic movie. Let's see. So we said redheads are in greater danger of extinction. The abortion celebration in Ireland. Let's see. I don't necessarily think redheads are going extinct. I mean, hell, hundreds of years ago, they tried to wipe them out. I don't think redheads are going to go extinct because God loves me. So yeah, that would be how I define porn. I honestly think that Playboy pictorials were the kind of thing that were iffy. That would be where I draw the line on. That would be where I'd say the blurry little line is. You could definitely call that porn. I don't necessarily know if Playboy in and of itself was porn back when it was still culturally relevant. It was a joke. I read it for the articles, but I truly do believe a lot of people did purchase Playboy for the articles. And hell, instead of, R-rated, there was the PG-13 version of Playboy, Maxim. I used to read that back in high school. And trust me, you could crank one out to the pictorials in Maxim. But I wouldn't call Maxim porn. So he says, as long as there's a fetish for redheads, I'm pretty sure they will still be around. Well, I have the genes in me to produce them. Redheads pop up in my family line quite a bit. So I end up, if I ever breed with a redhead, I will probably produce a redhead kid. Let's see. Changing gears real quick. Let me bring up this fucking Rolling Stone article again, because I kind of want to get into it again. Look, can you bring up this Rolling Stone? I'll bring it right here. I'm not going to dig deep in the article, but oh, that's nice. There you go. Bring this article up, and specifically the picture right at the top, because holy shit, there's a lot to analyze here. Look at that dude. Look. Oh. Now, I read through this article the other night. This is the guy that owns Black.com, Tushy.com, and Vixen.com. And he's attempting to build a porn empire. Now, all three of these sites have extremely high, they talk about this in the article too. They have extremely high production values. Actual thought put into the photograph, you know, actual real photographers that know, you know, how to set up a good shot kind of thing. And there's artificial money. Now, the article doesn't say this, but I'll say this. This guy's quote-unquote media empire is being artificially propped up. By whom is it? Look, go up for a second. Look at this fucker right here. That's him at 14. Look at that fucker. That all he's missing is a fedora. That is a Reddit milady fucking picture if I've ever seen one. Anyways, something is propping this up. Interracial porn is not that popular. Strictly anal sex porn is not that popular. Something is propping these up.
Oh, anal is second to Overwatch.
Yeah, let me take these. Lesbians, of course, stepmom, MILF, teen, stepsister, mom. That's all a little disappointing. Cartoon, hentai, massage, Japanese, Overwatch, anal, ebony, threesome, lesbian, scissoring. Can we not just like lump that in with lesbian? Cream pie. You know, I remember a time when that didn't even really exist in porn. Asian, black, squirt, gangbang. Yeah, interracial isn't on the fucking thing. Now, don't get me wrong. There's I assume there's plenty of black guys that like watching black guys fuck white women. I assume there's a handful of white women, and I assume there's a decent amount of soy boys, you know, who read fucking Huffington Post a lot, who like that kind of porn, and I assume there's some people who just don't give a rat's ass about the dude at all. It's just a dildo that this woman is using for their amusement. So I assume there's some people that wander into these sites not giving a shit. They're just following that actress and watching all her videos. But by and large, it's not that popular. So why then is there such a push? And more importantly, this guy is pissing away money. Where is this money coming from? This is not the free market at work, okay? I'm going to put my libertarian hat on here for a moment, folks. Don't go blaming this on the free market. All right? If this guy was running strictly lesbian porn, you know, okay, maybe you could blame this on the free market. If blacked.com was one of, 50 fucking sites he owned and he wasn't pumping that much money into it, okay. There's something. There's some chemicals in the water making the frogs gay here, okay? There's something going on. Something shady. Let's see. What do we got in the chat? The Trump outrage right now is ridiculous. I just tune it out anymore. I can't even fucking pay attention to it. And I suspect a lot of other people are doing the same thing. Like, the Democrat Party has become the party of temper tantrums at this point. I can't imagine it's going over well with the undecided voters. Let's see. It's easy to piss away money when it ain't yours. Yeah, this guy's spending money like he's Hugh Hefner at Playboy's height of cultural relevance. So he says, how does any pornography make money now? I'm not really sure. I know a lot of the actresses can probably make money by, basically thirsty fucking fans that, basically by being fucking findoms. They basically make money the Lauren Southern way of they get thirsty nerds to send them money. Speaking of which, by the way, check out my PayPal and my Patreon and my Amazon wishlist.
Please do. This article says that he is turning a profit, even if piracy is a big problem.
Of course it's a big problem. Look, if you want to watch his videos, and I'm not recommending it, but go into your fucking search engine and type up black.com and click on the videos section of your search engine, and boom, there you go. You crank one out to it, and then you feel bad for yourself. Okay? And you don't have to send this fucking dude any money. I don't know how he makes any money. I don't know how any pornographer makes any money anymore. Because no matter what fucking video you want, you go on your search engine, you look for it, you crank one out to it, and, then say, sorry, Jesus, and you're done. I don't know how they make money anymore. Plus, there's the tube sites. I keep forgetting those even fucking exist.
According to them, quote, this picture supposedly has Alba Danger, Riley Reid, and August Ames in it. Like, those three women are supposedly Albelia Danger, Riley Reid, and August Ames. One of them committed suicide, and the other one we saw the interview of. Yeah, we saw the interview. But look at this. He's photographing it on a yacht. There's a fucking helicopter taking pictures. Like, there's real production values into these shots. This isn't just we got these chicks to take their top off and suck a big old black dick, and then we put that's not what they did. There's real money into this. There's not real money being made from this, I suspect. This guy is making niche pornography. Now, he keeps claiming, well, I'm the production values is why my stuff sells. People will pay for quality. Will they? Will they regarding this? See, like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what goes through the head of somebody that's a regular consumer of black.com. So I can't necessarily totally put myself in that headscape. But
again, I used to look at porn, and I've said this before. I paid for porn once in my entire fucking time of looking for porn, and I didn't even really pay the proper rate. I got a subscription to lizvicious.com, and I got the like 1 day or 2 day trial subscription for like $1 or $2, or maybe it was $5. It wasn't more than $5. And then I just quickly downloaded all the shit and canceled it. You know, that was the most I was ever willing to pay for porn on the internet. And I mean, Liz Vicious, that was something special. Holy shit. She was delightful. Probably porn makes money when people forget to cancel subscriptions. Lansky looks evil. He does look like a little fucking just creeper. The thing about it is, like, when Hefner died, I was talking about this. I never really got a very malicious vibe off Hefner. I never really, I don't want to say he wasn't a bad guy, because, I mean, we're all bad guys. That's why Christ died for us, didn't he? But he just struck me as somebody who, he went down the wrong path. You know, he went down the dead end street, the cul-de-sac of hedonism. You know, but I don't think there was anything really malicious about it, you know. This guy strikes me as, I don't know, I'm making the Goyim's daughter suck the Negro dick or something. This guy strikes me as kind of shitty. Like 10, 20 years ago, didn't you, Hefner, seem at least somewhat likable? You know? Somebody says Lansky looks like soy meets Islam. Bechtloff, do you have the Discord link? I do. I put it in the chat. Scroll up some. You'll see it.
I'm trying to find an interview that you can see like how Greg Lansky is in his mannerisms.
Oh, man. Ugh. You know, it's interesting that the Rolling Stone article made point of how he puts high production values. Because I've been saying for a while, and look, we've all seen black.com pictures because they've become memes. Okay, you must watch it. Let's not go down that route. We've all seen these pictures. And I've made the point several times on here, you know, that they're really well shot fucking pictures. Like, this looks like there's a lot of production values that go into these. And there was an article on Return of Kings last year talking about how there's a big push for interracial porn, well beyond how much it's profitable. And sure enough, in this, you see, like I said, there's artificial money getting put into this.
You know, it looks like I've already seen a lot of the people in the room naked. So, you know, that's not really working out.
He seems way more human there.
It's the only video I can find of him right now. Like, that's actually an interview kind of thing.
Let's see. Looks like John Stone Street John Steele wants to hop in for a bit, and I'm about to wrap this up anyway, so I'll let John hop in as a caller before I wrap it up. Yeah, there's artificial Somebody says he talks like Mundane Matt. Oh, in the article, it talks about how like him and his one best friend bonded over porn when they were 12. I'm like, that's fucking sad. And you imagine you're like, hey, do you like jerking your dick? I also like jerking my dick. Are we best friends now? No, we're not.
But
We're
even if
most
there's
definitely
nothing,
not.
even if that doesn't happen, how exactly do you bond over porn? It's kind of like you're bonding over experience you can blackmail over each other for.
It's like, hey, do you want to watch porn together? No. No, I most definitely do not. That's pretty fucking low on the list of things I'd like to do. Hey, John Steele, what's on your mind? Oh, John Steele is with us in spirit.
You will be with us soon.
All right. Let's see. So,
Now can you hear me?
yep, I can hear you now. What's on your mind?
Yeah, that was my fault, guys. I'm sorry. I had Brave on because it's my default browser. So when you sent me the link, it automatically opened in Brave. So I don't know if any of you people have had that problem. Just something to think about, guys, when you're using Google Live Streaming. But you were talking about the money thing, like how people make money in porn. That perplexed me. I remember a conversation with a guy I know that how do I say? Well, let's say this guy's not embarrassed about the fact that he uses porn, for lack of a better word.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what he said. Now I don't know if he really knows this, but what he said is that the way people make money in porn is, you're right, because it's these tube sites are so ubiquitous, and you can type in whatever you want, like, granny tranny midget porn. There's a niche for you, and you'll find something on it, and it's free. So he said that the way these people make money is by literally pimping and escorting. So what the movies are used for is kind of like, this is going to sound weird, but it's kind of like advertisements.
I figured it was something like that. I kind of figured there was a lot of like thirsty fanboys who just, like these girls will give the guy just enough attention to keep the money coming in, kind of thing. Like basically,
I'm sure,
what a stripper who's really good at her job would do.
Well, I'm sure there's that. Like, they got multiple revenue streams. Like, I don't know if did you watch the Netflix documentary? I can't remember the name of it. It was about the
Hot Girls Wanted, I think.
Yeah, so it was that, or it was either that or a very similar title, and it's kind of sad, but it showed how these girls, they were all like 18, 19, thereabouts. Mm-hmm. Like, none of them are like, I don't think any of them they showed were like even drinking age. But they go in and they went to like Florida, which I think that's like the center now, Florida, because I think California passed some sort of condom law. So I think that like the porn industry in California is like dead. So
I thought California was the porn industry.
Yeah, no, but apparently they passed a law in California that requires you to use a condom in a movie. Could you Google this, Luke? I don't know.
Only in a movie, though. If you're not filming it, then you're required not to.
Right? Yeah. Right. I mean, it's weird, right? But yeah, if you're filming it and charging people money to see the product, there's some law. I don't know the exact details of it. I don't know how you enforce that. I mean, how are they going to know where you shot it, right? I mean, but. Unless you got the back, it's an outside scene and you can see like, the Hollywood sign in the background or something, right? But
yeah, San Fernando Valley used to be exactly where like all the porn was made. Like it was that same three or four mansions.
Pretty much, yeah. That became the hub. But from what I understand, because of, I mean, this is kind of funny. Like, as degenerate as California is, they're and liberal and degenerate and all that they're, how do I say that their legalistic anti-business practices even drove away porn. Just does anyone else see the irony in that? I mean, that's how bad they are. That even the porn people going, we can't put up with this liberal shit. We're
When the
moving out of
porn-
here.
The pornographers leave saying, "You fucking degenerates."
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what California's become. But anyway, back to the theory on this, because I was perplexed by this too. You know how there's all these porn sites that people are pirating from that put it up on tube sites, and the tube sites get like millions of views. Wasn't there some incident that happens where what's the big tube site? Is it Pornhub?
Pornhub is one, and X Hamster is another. I know of.
Yeah, I think Pornhub. But anyway, I think it was Pornhub where they published. And the way Pornhub makes money, by the way, is through analytics. That's how they make money. They sell the info of what people watch and when they watch it and where they're, what part of the country they're in and stuff like that. That's how they make money.
Oh, the Facebook model.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly, Luke. Perfect. That's how that. So I know how they make money. It's on analytics. Because and also they don't, but they have like kind of low overhead, right? Because they don't have to produce any of their own content, right? They just
it's just bandwidth for them.
It's a brilliant business model, right? You get other people to upload, upload pirated shit from all over the world, right? And you get to sell information on who watches what and when they watch it. Like on Fridays at 10. People like to watch mother-daughter porn, and on Tuesdays at 9, it's all about incest. I don't know, whatever. Whatever.
Lie. When the video game Fallout 4 came out, I remember Pornhub made this big announcement that their traffic had dropped like 60-something%.
That's it. Sorry, that's it. That's exactly what I was trying to remember. I couldn't remember because I'm not big into the gaming world, but I remember, I think maybe I was listening to you that I heard this and I was going, oh my God. But they sell money based on doing studies like that, like figuring out, oh, this is, what, like, for example, if they know that people who play, what was the game again?
Fallout 4.
They will have like computer algorithms figuring out people who play Fallout 4 are also into black.com or something.
Yeah, so, they're going to know, well, which types of videos were the ones that dropped off the most when we saw this drop off.
Right. Like they said, yeah, interestingly enough, the same time Fallout 4 came out, all of a sudden that preteen porn dipped in viewership. I'm being facetious. I have no idea, but I mean, my point is that's how it's going on. But back to this guy's theory, this guy that told me this story, and this was a while ago, but it kind of made sense that all of these porn girls, I don't want to say all of them, but the ones that are around that make money, they make their real money because they can escort and they can charge. Let's say if they're a big name, let's say, like whoever the equivalent of Jenna Jameson is now in porn. If you're someone like that, these chicks can charge like, $5,000 an hour. Like, I don't know if you remember.
I'm sure. I mean, if you have the money to throw around for that kind of thing, and you don't necessarily have any kind of moral qualms with things, I could see a guy saying, yeah, I want to bang such and such hot porn actors because just almost for the story of it, just almost for the, like, to say you did.
Yeah, like why did Donald Trump fuck Stormy Daniels? Because he could, I mean, and he didn't pay for it. I mean, she did it for the same. She fucked him for the same reason. She wanted to say she fucked Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So that's how so you can understand if one chick is making $5,000 in one now, and so now the question goes is, how are the producers making money? Guess what? They're the 21st century pimps. They get a cut. They get their 10% every time one of these chicks turns a trick. Because they're they handle the arrangements, so to speak.
It still doesn't explain why certain things why is interracial being pushed? I mean, I think I know, but it doesn't fit in their business model.
Well, that goes back to the whole thing, like you were talking about the Jews just kind of getting off on defiling the shikstas, the gentle thing, and that would kind of always piss me off when people say, well, you can't blame the can't blame the Jew because the goy buys. Well, according to your analysis here, well, no, they're not buying it yet. They're still pushing the shit. So, you got to wonder about that.
It's not that popular. I mean,
right. So the goy is not buying it, but
we made a meme out of the dog fart network, making jokes about that. And because I know Blacks on Blondes was like the first interracial site I ever heard of. And it supposedly had been on the net since 97, since basically there was a commercial internet. And
was it around that long? Really? That's like over 20 years.
Yeah, but they were literally the first site of their kind, so it would make sense that they'd be able to make money. But then when you got this upstart that bursts onto the scene with immediately high production values, like Luke's throwing his picture up here and all, that is an incredibly well shot photograph. Now we've all seen this meme getting passed around, but the lighting and the not structure.
Well, I mean,
composition of it like that. There's a professional photographer who is probably being paid a good amount of money to shoot this. There are professional filmmakers working on these things who are probably making good money, and that video didn't make a profit. I guarantee you that video didn't make a profit. Even if piracy wasn't a thing, that video probably wouldn't have made a profit.
So what does that say to you then?
Like I said, there's artificial money. Now, I thought maybe there's some sort of shady Soros motherfuckers behind the scene pushing this sort of shit, and that maybe there really was no profit to be made anymore. And there may be elements of that. But the pimping thing, that's entirely a possibility too. I would not be surprised if there's plenty of, we see the Instagram models going off to Dubai. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of porn stars go off to Dubai. They just don't feel the need to brag about it on Instagram. I'm sure that's probably an element of it too.
Yeah, like if they would pay like this outrageous funds of if anyone wants to look up how the truth of that Dubai thing was that Tag the sponsor. I don't know if that website's still up. Matt Forney was the one that kind of first exposed it. And these were just regular, like they weren't porn stars in the sense they were just Instagram whores, I guess is what you call them, right? And they were being paid like I think $20,000 to come to Dubai and be shat on. How much would these guys pay to have like a big name, like a Sasha Grey or whoever is the big name now go to Dubai? They'd probably get 3 times that.
I thought it was funny in this Rolling Stone article too, how much this guy wanted to talk out of both sides of his mouth. Like he wanted to be like, oh, I work with people of all genders and colors. And, it's just about, and he wants to act like, there's like somehow there's not a racial element to his site called blacked.com. Like what I mean?
The title kind of gives it away, doesn't it? I mean,
it's like, well, it was just, there was a white girl and there was a black guy, and that's just how things worked out. This just happens to be the guy that showed up or something. Like that's the fucking case there. No, I think there's a little bit of design going on here, buddy. All right.
It was just an accident that the guy looks like he's like straight from the Congo,
Yeah, he just happened to be black. I know. I don't think. No, yeah, you're completely colorblind. You judge a porn star by the content of his dick and not the color of his skin, right? That's your. Yeah, no, I don't think that's what you're doing there, buddy.
But anyway, it goes back to the like what I was saying is that there is a lot of under the table money going on because it's the only way this business model could sustain itself. Like you're saying, that this guy has the money to, be drinking Cristal champagne and how much money they say this guy's making. Or did they even say that in the article?
He has in the article they mentioned. I talked about this last night. He has his Vixen Angels, in which he does a special photo shoot for him and gives him a little grab bag of, I don't know, Tiffany's and Versace bullshit or whatever. Well, it's basically his version of the Playboy Playmates, And he supposedly these photo shoots can run up to $30,000 on a fucking photo shoot for these girls. Oh, we lost John Steele. But yeah, there we go. There's the Vixen Angels, the high photo shoot with these girls and all. Yeah,
sorry, I got accidentally cut myself off.
Well, yeah, I was talking about, he has the Vixen Angels, which is like his Playboy Playmates, in which he will do a $30,000 photo shoot on these girls. That's insane.
$30,000 to take pictures?
Yeah, $30,000. Like I said, professional high-end photo shoot, like you would have expected in a magazine back in the days when magazines meant something.
Fuck, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I just bought a brand new car. Didn't cost that.
Part of it is this guy wants to be Hugh Hefner. This guy wants to be Hugh Hefner in the 1980s/90s. Like, he wants that desperately.
Well, an interesting thing about Hugh Hefner, I don't know if you know this, but Hugh Hefner was extremely anti-porn because he believed what he was doing was not, pornography. It was art.
I didn't know he was anti-porn, but I do know he had that. He did not view himself as a pornographer. And to be honest, I've always considered him a gray area on that sort of thing. I think there's definitely an argument to be made that Playboy was never really porn.
Well, I mean, he had a stroke. I forget it what, because he lived to be a great age, right? He was in his 90s when he died.
Oh, yeah.
Before he had his stroke, I know you couldn't be in Playboy if you had done any sort of pornography.
I know he had a big thing where you couldn't be in it if you were in Penthouse or Hustler. And a lot of people always said he's just trying to, muscle out the competition, when I really think it wasn't. That was not the motivation. I think he just saw those as beneath what he did.
Yeah, because if you looked at Playboy like back in the the pre-internet days, Playboy was a magazine where they would have interviews with William F. Buckley Jr. and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it was kind of an odd thing because on one level it was more intellectual than pretty much any magazine there was, but out there, I mean, if you think about it, the type of people that they had there were that they would be interviewing weren't the same people you think would be spanking it to pictures, and also, like, if you look at the older Playboys, there was always like this artistic kind of way about it, I mean, it was airbrushing and this whole kind of thing, but it was kind of meant to be as much as artistic as it was supposed to be, quote unquote, erotic. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
did we lose John Steele again? I think we lost you again there, John. At least we can't hear you. But yeah, I get your point. That's what I was discussing that too. I don't really think Playboy was ever porn. You certainly could crank it to it. But that's true of a lot of things that aren't porn. Let's see. I'm going to go look at the chat real quick, and I'm probably going to wrap this up. Let's see. It looked like chat's much going on. Maxim magazine was sort of like Playboy without the nipples back in the day. Yeah, I actually used to read Maxim in high school a lot. Throughout my teen years, I had a subscription to both Wizard magazine and Maxim. But yeah, Maxim was sort of like the PG-13 version of Playboy's rated R. Maybe Black is getting. Bechtloff, what's your stance on hard drugs again? I would probably legalize just about all hard drugs. I don't think that prohibition on drugs is successful. I don't think it's done us any good. All right. Well, I'm probably gonna go ahead and wrap this up then. John, are you back?
No, the Russians are screwing my internet.
No. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Thanks for calling in.
All right, stay on a sec, Luke. Stay on a second after we hang up. I got to ask you something.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, folks. If you enjoy the show, do check out the the tip jars down below, the PayPal, the Patreon, the Amazon wish list. Instead of being a thirsty little beta and sending money to whichever porn star is hot right now, send me some shekels. And do check out the Saturday show. We got some good stuff planned for Saturday. And that's all I got for tonight, folks. Bechtloff out.